And now for this week's State of Trade in Star Citizen. 3.10.1 is currently on PTU. This mini patch introduces several fixes, including making the Grey Cat Rock profitable. It also sees a fix for outposts taking several minutes to load in. Trading came to a halt on the 11th of August last week, as an issue reduced all players to 0 UEC. The issue was corrected on the following day, and players' credit balances were restored. And now for market data. In the metals market, Agricium reached a high of 24.76 on Daymar, with deposits on Lyria holding in the mid-23 UEC range. This is up from last week's high of 24.54. Prices in the high 22s were seen sporadically on Calliope, although low stock has made any meaningful trade from Calliope outposts difficult for this metal. Agricium has a rarely seen base price of 22.5. Titanium continues to surge at various locations. Tram & Myers held to a predictable 7.96 from last week with minimal stock. Deposits on Ariel ranged anywhere from 7.20 to 7.50, with Lyria seeing similar. Humboldt mines on Lyria saw regular instances of a base price of 7.10, with surges to 7.50 during peak trading. Titanium on Calliope reached 7.61 as traders continue to swarm a fresh supply of the metal. Gold follows its own usual trend, with the metal topping out at 5.89 on Daymar once again. Prices held firm to a base of 5.41 on Aberdeen, Lyria, and Microtech. Due to gold being a low-margin commodity even at base pricing, it is recommended to avoid trading in deposits around Crusader. Tungsten sees a surge in price to 3.80 on Daymar, up from last week's high of 3.79. Minor increases were seen on Calliope around Microtech as well. All other locations held firm to a base price of 3.55. Aluminum sees little traffic and holds to a base price of 1.11 UEC. Legal Vice sees stems hitting minor price increases at both Deacons and Hicks Research. Stems reached 2.86 in Crusader, with deposits around Microtech seeing minor increases before settling back to a base of 2.80. Distilled spirits continue to have a strong showing in Crusader, with prices reaching 4.60 at Bountiful Harvest. Supplies on Cellin saw slight cooling as spirits dropped as low as 4.18. Bud's Growery on Euterpe saw minor surges throughout the week, but on average held to near base pricing, ranging from 4.06 to 420 UEC. Astatine sees repeated surges once again. Crusader deposits held firm in the 7.95 range, as many traders insist on attempting to freight the commodity from ArcCorp 157 or Benson into Deacons. Deposits on ETA saw a roller coaster of variances, ranging from a base price of 7 UEC to 7.70. Deposits around ArcCorp hovered near 7.26, with ArcCorp 061 staying close or at 7 UEC. Due to its mediocre supply cap, this location can be a good outpost to visit for medium-sized traders, such as the Freelancer Max or Constellation. Microtech deposits mirrored ETA's pricing and regularly saw 7.70, as more people attempt to freight the commodity along the Microtech trade lanes. Fluorine continues to hold firm at all locations, staying locked at a base price of 2.35. However, trading has cooled off somewhat, and the route from ArcCorp 157 to Deacon's Research is viable once again, as many traders have moved on to other commodities. Chlorine holds at a base price of 1.3 and sees no change this week. Hydrogen saw minor price increases at ArcCorp 157, but has mostly held firm to its base price of 0.9 UEC. Iodine sees no change and holds to 0.35 UEC. In the mineral market, Laranite continues to dominate. Lorville is consistently flooded with Laranite traders, leading some to freight the mineral to other locations, such as Area 18 and even Grim Hex. Laranite reached 27.83 at Tram & Myers, with Ariel deposits not far behind. Deposits on Walla see a relative low of 27.08. With such high pricing and fierce competition, it may be worth settling for less profitable commodities for the time being. The diamond trade is still going fiercely as many traders rely on the route made popular in 3.8. While Tram & Myers prices have held firm to a base of 5.85, other locations around ArtCorp and Hurston have risen to the 6.09 range. Deposits on Microtech held at 5.85 this week, making planet-side runs viable for those looking for a change of scenery. Despite the worst profit margin in the game, many traders continue to trade Barrel in Crusader. Barrel reached 4.15 once again on Daymar. All locations outside of Crusader held to a base price of 4.06. At such a high buy price, Barrel's profit margin is a low 5.9%, making literally any other commodity that shares an outpost with it a more viable cargo. Corundum saw a minor price increase at Tram & Myers this week, reaching 2.34, slightly above its base price of 2.30. Quartz sees no change and holds firm at a base price of 1.25 UEC. The scrap trade is still going strong and sees little change from last week's pricing, with Grim Hex and Crew L1 consistently hovering in the 1.50 range. While both locations are excellent for a quick turnaround, other R&Rs can be used for prices much closer to a base of 1.35. Medical supplies see a small uptick in movement. While prices slightly rose to the mid-16 range around Crusader, supplies around Microtech surged from a high 16 up to 17.38, greatly impacting the profitability of the commodity. With demand eating into its profit margin, it may be worth avoiding medical supplies for now. Processed food sees no changes and holds at 1.21 UEC. Agricultural supplies follow and hold at 1 UEC. And now for next week's forecast. Expect trade to surge once again with the release of patch 3.10.1. Fluorine may flood into Deacon's research, keeping the sale price low. If this happens, reroute the selling at Grim Hex. Agricium on Calliope will see continuously low stock. Woodruff on Ida may be worth looking into during off-peak hours. Magda might cool off as well this week, making the diamond run to Lorville less reliant on Tram & Myers. Check out Humboldt Mines for cheap titanium at odd hours. Distilled spirits from Euterpe to New Babbage is still viable for those looking to avoid bountiful harvest. And now for this week's trading tip. Unlike previous patches, ships can no longer repair and refuel at outposts. This means that you will need to stock up and fuel up before beginning your long-distance routes. Be sure to account for your quantum fuel if crossing the system so you can avoid needing to make an extra stop while holding cargo. That's it for this week's State of Trade. Until next time, keep on truckin'.